Then Bill had the absolute audacity to say that he is nobody's fool. Right, right. He's been the biggest fool for Hayley, to say the least. What's up, fellow Beyond the Gates watchers? Here to talk about today's Thursday episode, a much better episode over yesterday. You know, I like when things move on the show. It's not every day that the storylines have some progress within an episode. So today at least had progress in a couple of the storylines. And these days with Beyond the Gates, that's all I can ask. Andre and Dani started today's episode with Andre not being very talkative, seeming distant. Dani asking if he is okay. He tried to say he is fine, but then he said he had a chat with Ted about his past and how life was for him after his parents died, which put him in a mood. And he then talked about how he had been reflecting on his past and says that he did some things in his past that he is not proud of. Andre was, of course, about to tell Dani what it was when Chelsea came over and interrupted to talk about how Dani was right about Hayley. So, of course, we didn't get to hear about Andre's past today. Had to stall that a little longer. Chelsea just came over to talk about her talk with Caroline about Hayley. Hayley and Randy met up in public, per usual, with Hayley complaining about how Bill doesn't want to go to St Bart's. Randy says that Bill has to die in St. Bart's. He can't die here. They end up getting into some argument about a past scam, and then Hayley's vowing not to ruin this scam, saying that she's going to get Bill on a plane to St. Bart's. They discuss the plan and everything that Hayley will say to Bill's family after he passes and how Hayley will be too devastated to come back home. Randy still wants his cut. When Hayley talks about how she's going to have all of the millions, he still wants his 1 million. But he also doesn't want Hayley to get too greedy and blow all of this when she starts talking about Bill's assets. Not a lot really was accomplished with these Hayley and Randy scenes. They've gotten very repetitive. It's really time to get Hayley to St. Bart's or something. Dani ended up meeting with Randy and told Randy that she is rooting for him. He was saying he doesn't know what Dani is talking about. Dani calls him out for playing coy. Dani says that she knows what he and Hayley are up to. Calls him both Sammy and Randy. Says that, I guess he's the itch that Hayley can't scratch. Randy laughed at her affair accusations. So right now, Dani, Chelsea really stuck on the fact that Hayley's whole thing is that she's having an affair, which, makes sense. That's kind of what it's always seemed like between Hayley and Randy. That's even what the all-knowing Joey thought it was between them. So, of course, Dani's going to suspect that as well. Bill was working with Caroline today. He was going to head out and take a breather, but she wanted to talk. She wants to make sure everything is okay between he and Hayley, saying that she misses gossip sessions with Hayley. Caroline then brought up the fact that she ran into Chelsea, who was concerned that Hayley was not being attentive enough with Bill. Caroline wondered if Chelsea had a point. Bill started to get upset that Caroline was bringing up this personal topic. Then Bill had the absolute audacity to say that he is nobody's fool. Right, right. He's been the biggest fool for Hayley, to say the least. Caroline asked if Bill is even still happy with Hayley, and he just didn't answer. He continued to get upset, said that he didn't want to have this conversation with Caroline, told her to stay out of his marriage, makes it clear that he doesn't want to have this conversation again, so Caroline had to back down. An angry Bill called Chelsea. They end up meeting so that he can complain about her going to Caroline and all of that. Meanwhile, Caroline and Hayley had a chat on the phone. Hayley wants Bill's schedule cleared because Hayley wants to get him to St. Bart's, saying that it's so Bill can relax. Caroline is concerned if Bill should even be traveling right now, which made Hayley get really upset, telling Caroline to clear his damn schedule. Then Hayley tried to play nice after that again and be like, please just clear Bill's schedule. Chelsea and Bill had their conversation continuing with her trying to tell Bill that Hayley is not who He thinks she is. She brings up Hayley having an affair with Randy, brings up how Hayley was flirting with Kyle Abbott. Bill, being the fool that he is, said that flirting is harmless and that Hayley's an attractive woman. People are going to flirt with her. He says he doesn't need Chelsea's help. I guess this is supposed to be Bill being stubborn. Bill still thinking he's the big, bad Bill Hamilton, even though Hayley's taking him to St. Bart's to die and going to be isolated. I still think Dani's going to be the one to save the day, a la Rachel on Another World back in the 80s. Later, alone, Bill is having like vision problems. I don't know if he was dizzy or what, but he was definitely looking like he was about to black out. But he got to Hayley, told Hayley about Chelsea, thinking Hayley is having an affair with Sammy, who she has been seen out with. Hayley plays the victim, says that Sammy reminds her of the worst time in their lives when she lost the baby, the fake baby, and he remembers that it's been a year since they lost that fake baby. And so she uses this as an opportunity to push for the St. Bart's trip, saying that she can't be here right now, she needs to get away. So Hayley's gonna push that St. Bart's trip to happen. I hope it does happen soon, because I do think the story will actually move if Bill and Hayley ever get to St. Bart's. Andre ended up running into Chelsea, and they had a little conversation about, lies in a relationship where it comes to Bill and Hayley. Obviously, Andre worried about his own lies in this relationship with his past all of a sudden. At the end of the episode, Andre got a text from that someone saying they need to meet, and soon. So how soon that will be, I don't know. This show moves very, very slowly, but hopefully it will be sooner rather than later. And then Chelsea said, Andre's seen a ghost from that text. And this is clearly supposed to be a ghost from Andre's past. Nicole was looking at a picture of Carlton to start the episode and contemplating calling him, and did end up calling him, wanting to see if they can finish their last conversation without Leslie interrupting. He says he's at Orphe Jean's. They can meet there. They do end up meeting up, and Nicole wants to clear the air because she knows that Carlton was probably upset to hear that she was home with Kyle the night prior when she was just so tired. Carlton tried to play it off that he was fine. She wants him to be honest. Carlton finally decides to be honest and tells Nicole about the relationship advice he ended up giving Tyrell earlier, and how it spoke to him about his relationship with Nicole and how he has always respected her and wanted to be with her all this time, which is still weird. But Carlton finally admitted that he is uncomfortable with the setup with he, Kyle, and Nicole. Finally, someone in this triangle handling this like an actual adult, and thinks that if Nicole wants to be with him, then it's time that she start putting him first if she wants to continue. Nicole said she's been honest about what she is able to give right now, and if it's not enough, then she has to respect what Carlton is saying, and he will have to respect that too. She says she doesn't want to hurt him. He said that he was preparing himself for that answer, and she says sorry. Carlton wants to know why Kyle over him, and Nicole says it's because it's fluid with Kyle and there's no pressure. But Carlton doesn't think that Nicole and Kyle are as fluid as they are saying. Carlton thinks that Nicole doesn't want to be tied down to him specifically, which it was good to hear Carlton call Nicole out on a little bit of shit there. But then he's all about, we're still going to remain friends, which I guess is the supposed adult way of handling it. But this entire storyline, they've acted like teenagers, so it's just hard for me to take. But I'm glad that the Nicole and Carlton side of the triangle is finally ending. It's actually long overdue, so that was some progress today. Yesterday, we'll get to there. Leslie met up with Ted at the country club. He's frustrated about how she always has some so-called emergency. Leslie says that it's about their daughter who is drowning and needs a raft. This is, of course, about Eva's surgical scar that is bothering Eva. Leslie came to Ted because he's a surgeon, thinks that Ted needs to help her get the surgery to get the scar away so Eva feels better about herself. Ted really wasn't taking Leslie's shit today for once. First, Ted said it's natural for Eva to have that kind of reaction to a new scar and says he can't make Eva feel better, but she keeps trying to push Ted to do the surgery. Ted says nothing can be done about Eva's scar until she heals, so he won't do the surgery until she heals, and Eva's also in the right mind for it. Leslie gets upset, says that Ted can't call himself a good father because he is a disgrace. She's about to get up and leave, but Ted stopped her and said that she's not going to just be able to talk her shit and walk away. Ted basically told Leslie to sit her ass down, which was nice to see from Ted. Finally, some real oomph from Ted when it comes to Leslie. Ted says that he knows Eva has a lot to adjust to and that she's going to need a psychological assessment before the surgery on the scar. Leslie's still upset because she thinks that Ted is calling Eva crazy. We all know how Leslie feels when people call her crazy. She does not take that kindly. Leslie then threatens to go to Carlton, who is good enough for Nicole, trying to throw that in Ted's face. Yesterday in the comments, WD We Explore and Chill said that they think Leslie and Carlton will become a villain couple and that Carlton has a dark side. I said in the comments, I don't know if the writers are creative enough for that, but I could see something maybe starting up between Leslie and Carlton. I don't know how bad Carlton will be. He's certainly acting like such a nice guy today, but maybe it is all a facade. Maybe Leslie will be the one to bring the dark side out of him. Either way, that would be, I guess, it would be a better direction for Leslie she's very directionless right now, so that could, help the character maybe. We'll see what they do though, but there was at least some slight progress in Nicole's Hall of Life today. I don't know if enough people care about that. We seem to be getting closer to an Andre secret reveal, so that's something. And Dani confronted Randy, although she has the wrong idea. I think eventually Dani will be the one to save Bill though.